Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back with you on this UEFA Champions League night, for which we just witnessed Liverpool lose to Galatasaray for the second time this season by a goal to nil. That goal scored by Mario Lemina. But as I speak, games of 11 p.m. Kickoff have already kicked off, and Michael Olise has just forced the Atalanta goalkeeper into a brilliant save, while it has been a scrappy start for Barcelona in their game against Newcastle. For Tottenham and Atletico de Madrid, that game is equally ongoing. So we'll be following all the updates from all the three games tonight in as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned. But before we proceed any further, you'll allow me have our audios tested and make sure everything does check out for purposes of this broadcast. And then we will, proceed with the matters of this evening. It's been quite a busy day, so you'll indulge me in case this may take me a bit. But I'm a bit surprised that Anthony Gordon has not started for Newcastle in that Barcelona game. We'll be looking at what the starting levels are for all the respective teams that are playing tonight. But William Osula has started the game tonight, perhaps looking to give Newcastle that bit of a pace and width that you can equally get from Anthony Gordon as well. Like we said in the build-up or in the preview for this particular game, that Newcastle will be desperate to get anything that they can get in the form of set pieces in this, in this game to try and trouble Barcelona, because it's one of their weaknesses. Defending set pieces can be a bit cumbersome for them. So if you're looking to get at them, then set pieces could be a good avenue for you to sort of look through. And we've seen some of the early scrappy moments coming of that kind of play. Then we also did mention that they have to bring their physicality to this game, try and foul those Barcelona players as often as they can. And we've seen some of those elements with Jolinton. I think, I don't remember exactly the Barcelona player that he was pulling and, trying to impede him. We've seen it on Sandro Tonali against Lamine Yamal and things like that. So they're going to need a lot of that. Oh, Luis Diaz trying to claim that he was pulled in the area and therefore wanted a penalty, but the referee waved that away. He remains on the floor in the box. That's the 18 yards box of the Atalanta backline. So then the other thing was, we said, Newcastle need to leverage on counterattacks, and they've done a little bit of that thus far in the game. That moment from Luis Diaz will be reviewed, I do suspect, from the referee, and we see how it goes. Sorry, by VAR, but oh, I thought I'd gotten lucky. I thought my TV suddenly brought me a UEFA Champions League game. Not that it's subscribed to any subscription, but sometimes, YouTube can make you think you've gotten lucky. So it was just one of those moments. For those of you that are just joining us, good evening to you and welcome to the Football Tribe channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda, where it's 10 minutes past the hour of 11 p.m. and we are following up on the updates from the UEFA Champions League across the different games that are being played. As we speak, Atalanta against Bayern Munich, Barcelona away to Newcastle, while Tottenham Hotspur are playing away to Atletico de Madrid. We'll be going through the starting 11s to find out how the multiple teams have set up themselves tonight. But Atletico de Madrid have a goal against Tottenham Hotspur. So you'll allow me first have a better review of that moment before we get into the starting 11s for the respective teams as they have set up tonight. But yeah, beautiful end-to-end kind of football that we so far witnessed thus far. Oh, is that Marcos Llorente? It's Marcos Llorente again, the right back. He's the one who scored to give Atletico de Madrid the lead. Well deserved, I must say. Well deserved, I must say. So quickly, here the starting 11s. We'll start with Newcastle versus Barcelona for how both teams have set up. Newcastle being the home side, they have Aaron Ramsdale in goal. They have Kylian Trippier, Malik Thiaw, Dan Ban, and Lewis Hall. That's respectively in the back four. They have Jacob Ramsey, they have Sandro Tonali and Jorington in that midfield, while ahead of them is Anthony Elanga, William Osula, and Harvey Barnes. On the bench, they have Nick Pope, John Rudy is a goalkeeper, Harris, Steven Botman, Tino Livramento, Alex Murphy, Joe Willock, Yohan Wissa, Anthony Gordon, Jacob Murphy, Nick Foltmada, and Sean Nevia. Barcelona in goal, they have Johan Garcia, they have Pau Kubasi and Gerard Martin in their backline. They have Ronald Araujo, they have Joao Cancelo, Marc Beno, Pedri, Fermin Lopez, Lamine Yamal, and Rafinha, as well as Robert Lewandowski. I thought maybe the game would suit Marcus Rashford to start, but unfortunately, Hansi Flick could not find a slot for him in this one. On the bench, Barcelona have Wojciech Szczesny, Diego Cohen, Eric Garcia, Alvaro Moyano, Xavi Fonte, Gavi, Marc Casado, Dani Olmo, Tommy Marquez, Ferran Torres, Marcus Rashford, and Ronnie Badge. Those are the Barcelona players on the bench. So quickly, you'll allow me rest through this. Bayern Munich, meanwhile, have the lead against Atlanta. I'm trying to see who scored that goal. Earlier on, Luis Diaz missed an opportunity, but Bayern Munich are leading, have scored in the 11th minute and are leading against, they've scored in the 12th minute and are leading against Atlanta. But quickly, here's a look of how both teams have set up. Bayern Munich have Jonas Ubik in goal because Manuel Neuer is injured. That was an easy tap-in for Shat 44, Stanisic. Stanisic is the goal scorer in that one. But yeah, Josep Stanisic is the goal scorer in that one. They have Dayot Upamecano, Jonathan Tah, and Konrad Laimer in their backline. In the midfield, they have Alexander Pavlovich, Joshua Kimmich, while ahead of them is Serge Gnabry, Luis Diaz, Michael Olise, and Nicholas Jackson. Looks like Harry Kane is on the bench. That's a bit surprising, really. Oh, that should be a yellow card. Lewis Hall was wrestled to the ground by Barcelona player, but wow. Okay. Anyways, so Nicholas Jackson starts ahead of Harry Kane. I did not see that coming, I must say. But on the bench, the Bayern Munich have Harry Kane, Leonard Karl, Tom Bischoff. They have Alphonso Davies, Jamal Musiala, Leon Goretzka, Rafael Guerreiro, Kim Min-jae, Leonard Prescott, as well as Sven Juric. That's a goalkeeper. So a very, very rich bench, by the way, for Barcelona. When you have Harry Kane, when you have Leonard Karl, when you have Alphonso Davies, Jamal Musiala, Leon Goretzka, Kim Min-jae, the defender, really, that's a rich defense. Anyway, on the side of Atlanta, they have Marco Casenecchi in goal. They do have Isaac Hein in their defense, Shid Kolasinac. Now, Shid Kolasinac being played at the pivot of a back three. Can't wait to see how horrible that works out for Rafael Palladoni's side. That's the manager for Atlanta, but it is what it is. Lorenzo Banasconi completes the back three, while in the midfield, they have David Zappacosta on the other side of the left winger, Nicole Zelewski. They do have De Ron. They have Mario Perisic. They have Sulemana. They have Nicole Kristovic, as well as Gianluca Scamacca. They are leading the lines. Some of those names a bit of tongue twisters for me, but please do bear with me. But while you thought Newcastle were bound to be the nasty side in this tie, it looks like Barcelona are the ones that are bringing the nasty element to the game, really. I must say, I did not see that coming. Then quickly, on the side of Tottenham Hotspur, here's how they've lined up against Atletico de Madrid. They do have Antonin Kinski is in goal. Kevin Danso, Mickey van de Ven, Christian Romero in the back three, Pedro Porro and Jed Space in the wing backs. They have Achai Gray and Pape Matsa in midfield. They have Ricarson leading the lines, Rando Kolumwani and Matthias Stels. That's a pretty lightweight team. But Guillermo Vicario has been dropped to the bench. Brandon Austin, Radu Dragson, James Roswell, Joao Paulinho, Xavi Simons, Conor Gallagher, Calm William Olusesi, as well as Dominic Solanke. Wow. That's quite bold from Igor Tudor, dropping some of his main starters, the likes of Dominic Solanke, the likes of Conor Gallagher, Xavi Simons, Joao Paulinho, Vicario, all to the bench to go with quite a different setup. Then Atletico de Madrid have Jan Oblak, Mark Pibul, they have Robin Lee Nomad, David Hencho, Matteo Ruggeri, Giuliano Simeone, Marcos Llorente, Johnny Cardoso, Demola Lokman, Julian Alvarez, and Anton Griezmann, the goal scorer there, who scored two. No. Oh, okay. Oh, it's 2-0. Joan Garcia has just pulled off a brilliant save to deny Anthony Elanga, although I think the whistle went for an offside. Meanwhile, Anton Griezmann has scored to make it 2-0 for Atletico de Madrid against Tottenham Hotspur. So that game is 2-0. That's how teams have set up. I did say that, Joan Garcia could be quite the difference in that game because he's been one of the standout goalkeepers in the Spanish La Liga, but also the standout player in that Barcelona side, alongside the likes of Lamine Yamal, in a season for which, through the struggles of injuries, Rafinha has been a bit underwhelming, in my opinion, as well as some of the Robert Lewandowski's of this world, really bit of, muted performances in that regard. So it's jubilations at the Riyadh Air Stadium in Spain, where Atletico de Madrid have a 2-0 lead against Tottenham Hotspurs. Oh, and it's 3. Wow. Tottenham are getting obliterated. I did say that if Tottenham get beat tonight, I won't be surprised if Igor Tudor is shown the exit after today's fixture and is already getting obliterated. My goal alert tells me that Atletico de Madrid have scored the third. Oh, that back line was all over the place. That back three was all over the place. Mickey van der Ven slipped. Kevin Danso was stunned like a headless chicken. And then Kaniski, Antonin Kinski sent the opposite direction. Beautiful, beautiful goal from Antonin Griezmann. Now, let's see what the third one looks like, because looks like as soon as that ball was restarted, again, Tottenham Hotspur appear to be the architects of their own downfall. Antonin Kaniski, the goal is scored by Julian Alvarez, and it's 3-0. Tottenham Hotspur are getting obliterated. It's a mistake from the goalkeeper, Antonin Kinski. Guillermo Vicario was dropped for his inefficiencies and poor goalkeeping, and now you bring a substitute goalkeeper who looks much worse than the one you've taken off. And this is what we are saying about. You struggle to think of a Tottenham player that is going to lift themselves up, to rise to the occasion and put up quite the performance. It's not the captain, Christian Romero. It's not Mickey van der Ven, not the goalkeeper. Suddenly not Pape Matsa, who was the suspect in losing the ball before the second goal was scored. They're just getting hammered. Oh, very unfortunate for the goalkeeper. He miscues he doesn't miscue. He gets a touch of the ball, but as he plays it, he goes off his left foot, hits only his right foot before being, falling in the path of Julian Alvarez, who scores arguably the easiest goal of his career that he will ever score. And Tottenham Hotspur are 3-0 down against Atletico de Madrid. So, Beautiful, beautiful game. Oh, and straight away, Igor Tudor has made a goalkeeping change. Igor Tudor has made a goalkeeping change. He's taken off Antonin Kinski for Guillermo Vicario. So now, that's a vote of no confidence in the goalkeeper, but the manager himself. You substitute off a goalkeeper barely 20 minutes into the game for poor performance. He's not gone to the bench. He's walked straight down the tunnel because that was an absolute punishment. Now, I understand I'm all for managers correcting their mistakes as soon as they see them, but wow. Wow. Oh. Danban nearly connected a cross into the back of his own net. Had 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 Aaron Ramsdale scrambling there. Wow. I said this as on a TikTok forum today, and we're doing the preview for the Atletico Madrid versus Tottenham Hotspur game. And I said, if Tottenham Hotspur lose the game against Atletico Madrid, chances are Igor Tudor could be sacked the following day. Now, first of all, he's picked a very weak team. I understand he's trying to send a message to those players that have not delivered the kind of performances that he would have loved from them. But oh my, all those changes, including the goalkeeper, who you have to change after 16 minutes into the game because he's conceded 3 goals, one being his individual error, the other, you can blame it on the defenders. Of course, even the first one he could have done, perhaps saved it, but he never got there in time, as Marcos Llorente put it to the near post. So, wow. And once he's been substituted off, he walked straight into the dressing room. He did not sit on the bench. I mean, he feels embarrassed already for his mistake in the game that has led to the 3rd goal. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich have scored, and it's 2-0 against Atlanta. Looks like it will be a whole mountain to climb for Atalanta when they go away in German. But this is the kind of a performance we expected from Bayern Munich. And then on the side of Atletico, it's no less the expectation we had for them coming into this particular fixture. Let me see. I have a message from Becca says, "Hello, bro. You watched the Galatasaray match?" Yes, I did watch it. As Liverpool lost by 0-0. We beat Liverpool again. Yeah, congratulations to you. Not really surprised, but it's a game that in which Galatasaray had so many chances. They could have scored even more, but they did not take all their chances. Meanwhile, Michael Olise is the goal scorer for Bayern Munich in that game against Atlanta. I missed the opportunity of watching the goal because I was preoccupied with all the other games. But it is the nature of the sport. Sometimes you miss out on watching some of these goals when you're watching so many games. But wow. Tottenham are getting obliterated in Spain. I'm not sure Atlanta fans will have much to complain about. But wow, Guillermo Vicario has a lot of amends to do for where Antonin Kinski fell short. Really, thank you so much, Baka, and congratulations to you and all the Galatasaray fans out there on that very, very vital victory going into the second leg. But you'll have it all to do in the return leg next week because a 1-0 victory is as thin as a margin you can have it. If you do remember what nearly happened to you against Juventus at the playoff rounds, really. Oh, come on, Julian Alvarez. Nobody touched you there. You should be getting booked for that dive. Julian Alvarez should be getting booked. That was a dive. Oh, meanwhile, it's a goal. Spurs have conceded the fourth. Atletico de Madrid for Spurs nil. They're just getting, they are having their AWS handed to them, really. You must feel for uh, Abi Summers. Oh, and meanwhile, Bayern Munich have scored the third through Michael Olise. Oh, Vicario made a mess of that one. It's a goal. The referee was alerted on his watch, on his wristwatch, that the ball had crossed the line. It's a goal by Lee Nomad. Wow. Atletico de Madrid 4, 0 Tottenham Hotspurs. But it's Sergi Gnabry. What a beautiful goal that is. Oh, beautiful, beautiful goal. Bayern Munich 3, Atlanta nil. I don't think there will be a way back for Atlanta, nor do I think there will be a way back for Tottenham Hotspurs. That's why it is Newcastle that are still holding their fourth. The ball does cross the line. The defense was once again all over the place. So was the goalkeeper. Oh, is that not an own goal? It does feel like, is it an own goal? No. It wasn't pretty, but it's a goal nonetheless. And Atletico are 4 0 behind. They could easily put 8 past Tottenham Hotspurs. If you're Hugo Tudor, I don't know what you're going to tell your players at halftime, because that is as poor a performance as you'll ever see in the UEFA Champions League at a round of 16 stage. Malik Thiaw, no, was it Malik Thiaw? No. William Osula came close to giving Newcastle the lead against Barcelona, but his header went just inches over the bar. It's a goal Tottenham have scored to pull one back against Atletico. I mean, not that it gives them any encouragement because it's 4-1 nonetheless, but I mean, it's a goal nonetheless. Meanwhile, the game between Bayern Munich and Atalanta is completely one-way traffic. It's a Bayern Munich attacking all the way. It's nowhere near two-sided. The game between Newcastle and Barcelona, you must say, Newcastle for me have looked the better side in this opening half. I don't know whether they can keep it up, but they have looked at the better side. Playing a back three against Bayern Munich is a very, very risky business. It's a very, very risky business. Still waiting to see that goal scored by Tottenham Hotspur because my feed is slightly behind, but they do have a goal. It's been scored by Pedro Porro, with Richarlison providing the assist in that one. Beautiful goal. But the Tottenham Hotspur fans look less interested in whatever their team seem to be doing at the moment. The few traveling fans, and Diego Simeone is not having it. He's not pleased that they've conceded. It's been checked for a possible offside. in the build-up for Ricarson, but I think the goal will stand. Let's wait and see. Oh, uh, there's a slowness to the ball. I mean, why would you put Achai Gray in that midfield? I mean, he's not a bad player. And leave Conor Gallagher on the bench. He's more experienced. He's more athletic. He's more to a box to box. He's been playing for Atletico de Madrid. He knows a thing about or two about them. It's quite the odd selection that he's made, Igor Tudor, if I'm being honest. And I can't be on his side. Why don't you play back four? Simple. Play back four and compact that midfield. Have some shock absorbers. Oh, that was a poor ball. America looking so fly in Italy. Oh, oh. Jolington just clipped the ankle of Pedri, and that's what I said. That's the kind of performance that you can't get from Newcastle. They'll clip your ankles. They'll, foul you at every single opportunity they get, and that's what they need. Keep killing any momentum that Barcelona try to get. Nick the ball off of them. Do not give them too much space to receive the ball, and things like that. So far, I've been really, really impressed by Newcastle's game strategy. Look to try and exploit them on set pieces. Yes, so far, they've not yet found the breakthrough nonetheless, but they've made them look scrappy. They've tried to catch Barcelona on the break. It's not yet been that successful, but Joan Garcia's had a couple of saves here and there to make. Meanwhile, Jan Oblak being forced into a save of his own on the other side. But I think there was a foul called for in the area. Oh, oh, they're showing us that Atletico Madrid goal that crossed the line was way over the line. Anthony Elanga has the same problems that Noni Madueke has. He'll run fast enough and then leave the ball behind. Or Joan Garcia is had to be alert throughout this fixture. You see, people make the argument that Arsenal have a fairly easy sort of draw in the UEFA Champions League, but trust me, they wouldn't want to face this Newcastle side in the UEFA Champions League at any one stage. And yet, if Newcastle do get past Barcelona, there is a possibility you could meet them. Sandro Tonali has been booked, but that was soft, I did feel. That's really soft. Yes, there's a bit of a tag on Rafinha's hand, but that's soft for a yellow card. Bayern Munich are hardly giving away any chances to this Atalanta side. Wow. been showing us that moment when Antonin Kaninski made his mistake that led to Atletico Madrid's third goal before he was substituted off. Barely could stay long enough for a good hug with Vicario as he came on. He knows, they know. I've seen this. I've seen this script before where it's happened to Chelsea. It's happened to where they've withdrawn Robert Sanchez for a George Petrovic previously, or a Felipe Jorgensen, and then the goalkeeper you bring in makes an even bigger mistake than the one you withdrew. It's happened to Newcastle before with Ramsdale and Nick Pope and that kind of thing. So really, Bayern Munich have 10 attempts on goal with 6 on target. Really, Atalanta have only 2 with only 1 on target. It will be interesting looking into those Barcelona statistics thus far in the game because more than 35 minutes have been played. Of that game, let's have a look at a few statistics there. In terms of Newcastle have had 2 attempts on target. Barcelona have had 1, 1 off target for either side. Barcelona still edging it in possession, but Newcastle have had 4 corner kicks compared to Barcelona's 2. Oh, oh. Fermin Lopez straight down to Aaron Ramsdale. Looks like Kieran Trippier is holding his groin after sleeping. Oh, oh. He controlled the ball and then slipped, and then Rafinha won it. Not even winning it, he basically took it away. Ah, Fermin Lopez firing it down straight the middle where Aaron Ramsdale was. But Kieran Trippier has needed treatment. Not sure he will be able to continue, but they do have Steven Botman on the bench. They do have Tino Livramento, all players that can come on for the Newcastle captain. Remember, they're missing their lead captain in Bruno Guimaraes. Kieran Trippier is merely a deputy. That Upamecano basically mugged Skamaka there. Uh-oh. Pape Matsa tried to have an attempt from slightly outside the area. Ball was deflected out for a corner kick for Tottenham Hotspurs. That's very unfortunate. Kieran Trippier sleeping. Even if Barcelona go on to score, I don't think you can really blame him for that one. He controls the ball perfectly well, and then as he attempts to make the step 2, get on with it, he slips backwards, and it didn't look pretty. It didn't look pretty for him. He's managed to limp run on. Kieran Trippier is back on the turf. Oh. Anthony Elanga with a very beautiful cross in front of goal. Oh, William Osula could not get his touch on it. Ball just sweeps through the 16 yards box and nobody could get his touch on it. That's the second time we've seen that happen. Oh, Barcelona looking to break. That should be a yellow card. That shouldn't be a yellow card. Lamine Yamal has makes zero attempt to play the ball, and it takes out a Newcastle player. How is that not a foul? That's two blatant fouls that have not resulted into yellow cards. Call me naive, but absolutely questionable any day. He takes out Lewis Hall. He has zero attempt to play the ball. That's a yellow card. It was the same Lewis Hall that was brought down earlier on, and the referee did not give a booking as well. Instead, but on the other side, you already have bookings for Sandro Tonali. Two blatant yellow cards that the referee has not given. Now, I understand the referee exercising his right to say, I'll wave that one off. But that was so blatant. That was so blatant. And Barcelona have been quite more than lucky to get away with those. They've been more than lucky to get away with those. Because I've made it very uncomfortable. Because I've made it very uncomfortable for Barcelona. Meanwhile, Atletico Madrid have a penalty claim on the other side. Diego Simeone telling his players to get on with the ball. That was a blatant foul. Atletico Madrid had the correct claim there. Oh, there to Upamecano trying to go from distance to score for himself, but his attempt goes wide of the mark. He could not keep it on target. Interesting 3 games. Remember, the action continues tomorrow. Arsenal come in the early kickoff at 8:45 p.m. Against Bayer Leverkusen. They're playing away in Germany. Then later on, we have PSG against Chelsea. We have Real Madrid versus Manchester City in the other game, while Bordeaux Glimwood will be at home against Sporting Lisbon. Those are the other 4 games that will be played tomorrow. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich just forced the Atalanta goalkeeper. It was Serge Gnabry who forced him into a save, close to making it 4-0 there. If you're just joining us, kindly like the broadcast and let us know what team you support, where you're joining us from on this beautiful Tuesday night, the 10th of March, 2026. It's the UEFA Champions League night. Bayern Munich versus Atalanta. They lead by 3-0. Goes from the likes of Serge Gnabry, Michael Olise. Serge Gnabry with an attempt from distance, but it hits the top of the crossbar before going out. So Stanisic, Serge Gnabry and Michael Olise, the goal scorers are for Bayern Munich, while Tottenham are 4-1 behind. Tottenham Hotspurs are 4-1 behind against Atletico de Madrid. Goals from Marcos Llorente, Anton Griezmann, Julian Alvarez. I don't remember who the other goal scorer was. Lee Nomad, and the other goal scorer, while Pedro Porro scored the consolation for Tottenham Hotspurs. That should be a penalty. Anthony Elanga was impeded. He was being pulled. He was being pulled in the area. Looks like it won't be given. They've let the on-field decision go on. Oh, Marcos Llorente once again was close to making it 5-1. Just couldn't keep his target, his attempt on target from inside the area. First of all, Antonio Griezmann misses it, and then it follows through to Marcos Llorente. He lets that one get out of his stride, and he was latching onto it as he attempted to have a contact on it. Come on. Meanwhile, the Bayern Munich Atlanta game was headed into halftime, as well as Barcelona Newcastle. Bayern Munich leading by 3-0. Barcelona Newcastle is still goalless, while Tottenham Hotspurs is 4-1 behind against Atletico de Madrid. Earlier on, we did watch a very beautiful performance from Galatasaray as they beat Liverpool by 1-0. That goal scored by Mario Lemina in the 7th minute of the game. Liverpool thought they had scored to restore parity through who was it? I need to check. I need to cross-check with my notes. Yeah, I think through Ibrahim Konate, but that goal was ruled out for a handball in the build-up. It was a bit of a scrappy moment goal in there, but very, very beautiful performance from Galatasaray on the night. They had a very high flying start. First of all, both teams I thought were giving out one too many spaces for them to operate in. Liverpool had chances fall to Florian Wirtz very early on in the game. Szoboszlai had his attempt blocked in the early minutes of the game, and this was before even Mario Lemina went on to score to give Galatasaray the lead. Then you had an attempt from Victor Osimhen in the 12th minute. It was a header. It was close, but not close enough. Then in the 16th minute, you had a chance that fell to Florian Wirtz, and then the keeper, he's called Kawat. Oh, come on. The Galatasaray goalkeeper, he's called something. I'm forgetting the pronunciation of the name. I'm trying to see if I can grasp it in my head. But yeah, the goalkeeper made he's called Kaki. Yes, Kaki made a brilliant save of Florian Wirtz's chance. Then Ibrahim Konate had an attempt of his own in the 18th minute. Then you had David Sanchez's header also forced George Mamadashvili into a save. Mamadashvili had a couple of saves in that game, while Ibrahim Konate in the 61st minute made a mess of himself before Victor Osimhen thought he had scored to make it 2-0, but that goal was ruled out for an offside. In the build-up, I think it was Noah Lang that was judged to have been in an offside position. I don't remember correctly, but most probably. Then Ekitike had a chance in the 66th minute, but Kaki was there with another brilliant save, and then that's when Liverpool thought they had an equalizer. Then Ekitike also had a header attempt in the 89th minute, but he could not keep it on target. It was a very, very beautiful performance, really, from Galatasaray. For me, I was more impressed with Galatasaray than I was with Liverpool, because I thought they created more chances, more goal-scoring chances than in terms of more clearer chances. Liverpool had more attempts on target, as many as 6 compared to Galatasaray's 4. Galatasaray had 9 shots off target compared to Liverpool's 6. Liverpool edged a possession to the tune of 54% compared to 46% of Galatasaray, according to online statistics. There were 7 corners for Galatasaray compared to Liverpool's 4. Again, I think both sides knew the importance of set pieces. They tried to make them count, but just could not get it right enough to have their attempts on target. Joe Gaffey says, thank you, Uncle. Is it thank you, UNC? What does UNC mean? I don't want to mispronounce it, misinterpret it for Uncle, but thank you so much, Joe Gaffey, for joining us. Kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if it is your first time here. We are doing the watch along for the UEFA Champions League. All 3 games are into halftime, with Bayern Munich leading against Atalanta by 3-0. Goals are from Stanisic, Michael Olise, and Serge Gnabry. On Bayern Munich could have easily been 6-0 up in the first half, but Serge Gnabry had an attempt hit the top of the crossbar. There's another moment the goalkeeper, the Atalanta goalkeeper, is forced into a save. You had Dayot Upamecano have a clean strike of the ball, but unfortunately could not keep it on target. Bayern Munich have had a really, really good performance in that first half, and I didn't think Atlanta did not have any answers for them, really, in as far as that game was concerned. Then on the other side, we have had a goalless draw between Newcastle and Barcelona. I thought it's been a very, very spirited fight from that Newcastle side. They've not given Barcelona much spaces. I thought Barcelona should have had 2 yellow cards in that first half, one going to Lamine Yamal. I don't remember exactly the other who it should have gone to, but both fouls coming on Lois Hall. Aaron Ramsdale has not had too much to do, but he's had there was an attempt from Fermin Lopez that he saved. On the other side, Joan Garcia, I think, has been called into action on about 2 or 3 occasions. He's been really good in set pieces. I think he knew that Newcastle would try to leverage on set pieces, especially corner kicks, to try and get the advantage. He's really, really done tremendously well in that, Joan Garcia. So a very, very beautiful performance from Joan Garcia as a player. But I thought Newcastle have dealt with every possible threat that you think Barcelona can present to you in quite a very encouraging style. While Barcelona have edged possession to the tune of 56%, again, you see that the margin is not that big. Barcelona have only had 1 shot on target, and that was from Fermin Lopez. And then Newcastle have had 2 on target, but they've had so many crosses that have swept through the 16-yard box and gone away untouched, mostly from Anthony Elanga, So it's been a really, really beautiful performance from Newcastle. They've had 6 corner kicks compared to Barcelona's 3. That tells you the bit of pressure that they've tried to apply on that Barcelona side. They've committed numbers in front. They've looked to catch Barcelona on the break. They've been a bit physical, clipping some of those Barcelona players, impeding them here and there. That's why Sandro Tonali is already booked in that game, even though I thought his tag on Rafinha was too light that it did not necessitate to be worthy of a booking, in my opinion. But yeah, that's been the kind of performance. Stanisic's goal came in the 12th minute, with Serge Gnabry providing the assist there. A simple tap in from a close range there. But nonetheless, and then that Upamecano surging forward before providing the assist for Michael Olise, who, he enters the 18 yards box, cuts on his left foot on the outside, goes slightly outside the 18 yards box, and basically places it in the bottom corner beyond the reach of the Atlanta goalkeeper. Really, really beautiful goal. You had an attempt, I think, was it from Luis Diaz as well? But just could not, come through with it. There was a penalty claim again from him. But Michael Olise, who scored the second, also turned provider when he provided the assist for Serge Gnabry's goal to make it 3-0 in that game for Bayern Munich. Then on the side of Atletico de Madrid versus Tottenham Hotspurs. It's been a horrendous performance from Tottenham Hotspurs. I don't think I've seen a performance that poor from a Champions League side at the round of 16 than I've seen against this Tottenham Hotspur side. First of all, they conceded 3 goals in a space of about 7 minutes. And 7 minutes later, they conceded the 4th. That's how poor they've been. Marcos Llorente scores in the 6th minute. Julian Alvarez providing the assist. Then Anton Griezmann in the 14th minute scores. Marcos Llorente providing the assist. Then as soon as that ball is finished, Antonin Kinski, the Tottenham goalkeeper who had started the game, makes a horrendous error in he's given a back pass. He's supposed to play it on. It's simple. He sort of panics out of zero pressure. I don't know why. And then he concedes possession to Julian Alvarez, who scores the easiest goal that he will ever score in his career, and it's 3-0. That's a goal in the 14th minute and in the 15th minute. And then 7 minutes later, in the 22nd minute, Anton Griezmann provides the assist as Lee Nomad. It was a corner kick as Lee Nomad headed home to make it 4-0 for Atletico de Madrid before Pedro Porro in the 26th minute, scored to pull one back for Tottenham Hotspurs. Tottenham Hotspurs have started with a very poor starting lineup. As soon as I saw that starting lineup, I was really, really worried for them. Antonin Kinski started in goal. He was withdrawn immediately after conceding that 3rd goal, and Vicario was brought on. Mickey van der Ven, Kevin Danso, and Christian Romero. That back three is not really, really worked out. Deja Space, he's been very poor. Pedro Porro, I just don't know why he doesn't revert to a back 4. I don't know. It's the stubbornness with managers that have either coached or played in Italy before. Their obsession with the back 3. It can be a good formation. It's not necessarily about the formation that leads to the bad performances, but you ought to understand the kind of opponent you're up against. You're playing a team that has Anton Griezmann, that has Julian Alvarez, that has Ademola Lookman, and Giuliano Simeone as that's 4 attackers, and you're playing a back 3, and you're playing a back 3 that is not even accustomed to playing a back 3, because until you arrived, that's not what they were playing. Yes, you could argue whatever it is that they were playing in the first place wasn't working out either, but it doesn't mean that you further ruin it. Because trust me, a part of Tottenham Hotspur fans, I don't know if there's any, will be wishing they had kept Thomas Frank as opposed to having Hugo Tudor, because I said it right from the onset, as soon as he was appointed, that it was the wrong appointment for me. It was the wrong appointment for me. For Tottenham Hotspurs to appoint Hugo Tudor as their interim, it just felt wrong right from the onset. Now, you go in midfield, you have Pape Matsar, you have Achai Gray. Who is your number 6? None of those is a number 6. None. Now, while that is the case, on the bench, you've left Joao Paulinho with all his experience, and he's a natural number 6. You've left the experienced Conor Gallagher on that bench, and I'm thinking to myself, what's going through his mind picking this team? Now, I understand punishing players for poor performances in the subsequent game, but this is the UEFA Champions League. You need all the experienced players that you can throw on. Then, as if that's not enough, you go with Matthias Tel up front, who has not had anywhere near a good season. And you leave Dominic Solanke on the bench. Make that make sense to me. Play Solanke, play Rando Kolomwani, play Newcastle. And by the way, if it were up to me, simple, play a back 4. Christian Romero, Mick van der Ven, Deja Space, Pedro Porro. Midfield, Joao Paulinho, Conor Gallagher, Pape Matsar. Keep it that solid because you're playing away from home. I understand that out of those three, none of them is largely a creative player, but yeah, keep it compact in that midfield. Then up front, yes, Newcastle, not very good, but nonetheless, Solanke, Newcastle, Kolomwani, whatever. But keep it a bit solid. Don't make it so easy for the opponent. This, I mean, wow. That's as poor a performance I've seen at the round of 16 in the UEFA Champions League in a very, very long while. Because if these were the group stages, we would say, well, Atletico Madrid is too good for Spurs. But, I mean, it's the fucking round of 16. You know? And they're out there having that poor performance. Please excuse the language. But for people that appreciate good football, we know when something is wrong right from the onset. We know when something's and he could see it's not working. And the only thing is changed is the goalkeeper. After the quarter-hour mark, he was supposed to make at least 2 other changes. Kevin Danso has to go off. Achai Gray has to go off. Or Pape Matsa, whichever you choose. One of the two has to go off. They have to go off. Introduce some bodies in that midfield. Otherwise, Atletico Madrid have been going through it for fun. It was like they were playing Subway Surf. You know, it was like Need for Speed. You know, back in the days when we used to play Need for Speed, there's a very bad road called Mystic Falls, but we love driving through it anyway because it tested your driving experience. Jesus Christ. But I mean, it's been that poor performance from this Tottenham Hotspur side. You know, let's see whether at the start of the second half he will make some changes because games have started returning for the second half. Barcelona and Newcastle are already back, as Bayern Munich against Atlanta. All those games are back. So let's return to that action as we equally wait for Atletico de Madrid against Tottenham Hotspur to return. But yeah, it's been that poor performance from those respective sides, as I have informed you. We'll look at any changes that may have been made at halftime by all the sides involved in the action. But I don't think if you're Ed Howe, you're making any changes to that team because they played really, really well. At least I thought to myself. Then Bayern Munich have not needed any changes. It was Atalanta who withdrew Julian Scamacca. In that one, I need to find out. Let's see. Bayern Munich have equally made 2 changes. Conrad Leyma has been withdrawn for Alphonso Davies, while Sergio Gnabry has been taken off for Jamal Musiala. Gianluca Scamacca on the side of Atlanta has been withdrawn for Berat Jimusti there. So those are the changes that have been made. Let's quickly go to, okay, we are waiting for the return of Tottenham Hotspur versus Atletico de Madrid, and we'll be waiting to see if Igor Tudor is going to be making any changes. But I do suspect he may receive his sacking message immediately after that game. You remember in 2016 when Manchester United won the FA Cup at Wembley, and Luis van Gaal was sent a text message to tell him he had been sacked. Well, that could be the case. That could be the case. Vijayan says hi. Hi, Vijayan. Good to have you on the podcast. How are you doing, my brother? Why are you joining us from Vijayan? I hope I've pronounced your name the right way. Let's return to the action there from St. James's Park, while keeping tabs on what is happening at the Riyadh Air Stadium in Spain. Anthony Langa pushed to the ground. If you're a Tottenham Hotspur fan who made the sacrifice to travel to Spain, you must regretting all the money you spent on the trip. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich are busy forcing the Atlanta goalkeeper into some brilliant saves already into the second half. Meanwhile, Igor Tudor has not made any changes at halftime. He must really be stubborn, or he doesn't want to hurt his own ego. See why Atletico Madrid were appealing for something. I was a back pass to Vicario that he collected with his arm straight away. It was the slightest of touches, but it was no accident. It was not an accidental touch. How I wish Pedri was here with us to give us his impressions from the opening 45 minutes or from the game in general. He's a Barcelona fan, straight out of Spain. It's a goal Bayern Munich have scored to make it 4-0. Nicholas Jackson on targets. Wow. told you it was bound to be a long night for Atlanta, a night of nightmares. Bayern did not come with any complacency whatsoever. They knew that Atlanta were capable of an upset. So, but will it stand? There appears to have been a handball in the build-up to that one. Luis Diaz with the assist. Ah, beyond the reach of the goalkeeper, overly stretched. And it's for Bayern Munich, 0 Atlanta. Ben and Pedri. William Osula ran out of space on that one. But Newcastle had gone through. What a game Lewis Miley is having. Sorry, not Lewis Miley, Lewis Hall. What a game he's having. Sidko, Lasnach, and Zelewinski have been withdrawn from Mosa and Anka. Is it Anka? Hope I'm pronouncing Mosa. Those are the changes for Atlanta. Must have loved the composure that Newcastle have shown against Barcelona. Do not look panicky at all. Here comes Anthony Langa. Can he find Osula? That was a poor cross. That's a very, very poor cross from Anthony Langa. Too close to Joan Garcia, and he was there to collect. But beautiful, beautiful run. Michael Olise's agility and quickness on the ball is something to really, really be admired. It's something really, really to be cherished. It's one of those sort of youngsters, if you still want to call him that I enjoy watching play. Michael Olise, Jamal Musiala, those kinds of players. Lewis Hall, Harvey Barnes going from distance, but Joan Garcia was there to collect. Hmm. Tomorrow is the big night. PSG, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Manchester City. Big games coming up. Um, big games coming up. Anthony Langa goes through once again. Just did a little too much there. Oof. Barcelona are 4-3. Could not make it count. Meanwhile, Atletico de Madrid have scored to make it 5-1. Another goal on the night from the home side. Ah, come on. I made that one look easy. Julian Alvarez, with his second of the night, he scores to make it 5-1 for Atletico de Madrid. An easy breakthrough. Don't think Tottenham will have a way back in this tie, just as much as Atlanta. Speaking of Atlanta, oh, Michael Olise just missed a goalkeeper to beat to make it 5-0 for Bayern Munich. Oh, Ricarlson forced Jan Oblak into a save on the other side, and then Atletico de Madrid went on a counter-attack. Antoine Griezmann providing the assist there. But the composure of Julian Alvarez is what you'd want to see in your forward as he gets the better of Vicario there. But that defense was slow to return or react. Surely, the tie is as good as done. No way Atletico de Madrid go to England and lose 4-0. Later on 5-0. Because that at this stage with 5-1, that's what it would require for Tottenham Hotspur to go through. Barcelona looking for the breakthrough, doing those things that we mentioned. They do not need to give Lamine Yamal a lot of space on the ball. Must be looking to cut it out. Barcelona have a corner. Was a bit of an awkward moment. Ball floated in by Lamine Yamal. Dan Ban heads it, but it doesn't go out. It stays in close to the goal, and eventually Aaron Ramsdale had to punch it out because Lewandowski was there trying to get his head onto it. Atlanta trying to find a breakthrough of their own, but they are being kept out by Jonas Ubik. For all the Elanga has exhibited his better qualities tonight with the good one in getting the better of some defenders, but it's that final ball, that final decision making that is still letting him down. Newcastle have had as many as three targets. Attempts on target compared to Barcelona's only one. Newcastle really had a very promising performance. Oh, Bayern Munich still pushing for that fifth goal. It will come. Does look like it will eventually come. And here they come again. Oh, Nicholas Jackson misses to get a touch on that ball. William Osula's had a really, really good performance. It's been quite energetic. Oh, come on. As a delayed play from, was it Trippier? Surely Bayern Munich haven't missed Harry Kane. Jason Tino and Ed Howe are having a conversation with one of their other assistants to see how better they can turn up the heat on Barcelona. Meanwhile, Richarlison is busy getting booked and he will be absent for the next game through suspension. Ah, that's a foul. He had a stamp on Marcos Llorente right on top of his foot, near close to the ankle. Oh, it's a goal. It's 5. Michael Olise has scored to make it 5-0. I told you the goal was coming. It's his second of the night. It's his second of the night. Oh, come on. There's too much space given to Michael Olise in front, right at the center of the 18 yards box. And he went for goal. The path was short. It's Bayern Munich 5, 0 Atlanta. Robert Lewandowski with an attempt, but it goes wide. That's the closest I've seen Barcelona come to the Newcastle goal ever since the resumption of the second half. And we're around the 65th minute. Meanwhile, Achai Gray, he's gotten himself in the referee's book. Newcastle are looking to make a trio of changes. Tino Livramento will come on for Clan Trippier. Jacob Murphy among the players being brought on, as well as Anthony Gordon. Those are the changes from Newcastle. Yep. Barcelona ought to brace themselves for that pace of Anthony Gordon. And Jacob Murphy. Anthony Langa is the other player that has been withdrawn off for Newcastle. At long last, Joao Cancelo has been booked, or at least a Barcelona player has been booked for a foul on Jacob Murphy. Zappacosta has been withdrawn for Bellanova. Bellanova has come on for Atlanta. Meanwhile, Barcelona are making changes of their own. Dani Olmo among those coming on with Marcus Rashford. Looks like Hansi Flick is also pressing his other buttons. He wants to put his other chess pieces on the board. Jacob Murphy with an attempt, but he couldn't keep it down. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich have scored its six. It's 6 against Atlanta. Atlanta must be regretting why they even got to this stage of the competition. It is Jamal Musiala with the goal. Nicholas Jackson with the cross. Jamal Musiala with the tap in, but Michael Olise was equally waiting on the back end of the post to tap it in. It's Atlanta 6. Sorry, it's a Bayern Munich 6-0 Atlanta. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich are looking to bring on Leon Goretzka. He's come on for Pavlovic, Alexander Pavlovic, while Barcelona have withdrawn Pedri and Robert Lewandowski for Dani Olmo and Marcus Rashford, respectively. Remember, back in the league phase, it is Marcus Rashford's best that undid Newcastle, while Anthony Gordon scored in the 90th minute of that game for what was a mere consolation for Newcastle on that occasion. Yeah, Jolinton is doing all the dirty work for Newcastle against Lamine Yamal and others. Newcastle have had a total of 11 attempts on goal compared to Barcelona's 7. They've had a very energetic second half thus far. See, I have a comment coming through from Joe Gaffey says, Uncle, if they offered you the Spurs, John, do you think you would keep them up? the Spurs job? I don't think I would. They're so poor and pathetic. Meanwhile, Tommy Bishop has been brought on for Alphonso Davies. Alphonso Davies was brought on at the start of the second half. It's another injury for him, and he's in tears. He just returned from injury and he's back on into the sick bay. I cannot save Tottenham Hotspurs. They're too pathetic. Mark Assad has been brought on for Mark Beno in that Barcelona game. Meanwhile, Atletico Madrid are making changes of their own, while earlier on, Spurs were preparing to bring on Joao Palhinha. Marcos Llorente is paving the way. Marcos Llorente has been withdrawn for Alexander Soloth. Another attacking option for Diego Simeone. Looks like he wants to seal this one or put it to bed. Oh, it's a goal. Jolinton. Ah, but the flag is up. He's offside. Somebody rattled the upright before Jolinton came in with the rebound. That's onside. It appears onside. Anthony Gordon with the cutback. I think it was that Harvey Barnes. Oh, it did not count. It does not count. But that attempt on goal, that breakthrough, albeit it's been offside, tells you how good Newcastle have been in this second half, in addition to all the good work they did in the first half. Let's see. I'm trying to read your comments. I'm laboring to read your name, but you say, greetings, I've always been a big fan. Just wanted to know who is your favorite player playing tonight. Wishing you a good night of exemplary football. My favorite player who is playing tonight? I'd say maybe Jamal Musiala, Michael Olise at Bayern Munich. Those are some of my favorite players. Yeah, like off my fingertips, those are the players that do come to mind. How about you? Who are yours? But thank you so much for your message. Unfortunately, I can't read your name unless you can give me a shorter one. Sometimes some of these usernames, I sort of struggle. But thank you so much for your submission. Is it Brian or Brian? Something like that? Kindly like the podcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel while you're here with us. But thank you so much for your message. But I do enjoy watching Jamal Musiala and Michael Olise play because they make it look so simple. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich were close to making it 7. But somehow Atlanta managed to keep that one out. Newcastle have been given a bit of hope with that offside attempt. So they're really, really now pushing to try and get that goal. They know they've had a good game. Oh, you say great picks. I love Danban. Name is pronounced Locklin Ban. Oh, Locklin Ban. Okay, thank you so much for the correction. There, Locklin Ban. Why are you joining us from? Are you a Newcastle fan? It's not very common that a football fan chooses a defender for the player that they enjoy to watch play. But yeah, he's a very good player. I like him really. He's very physically imposing. He doesn't easily get bullied. He's very good in the air, and overall defensively, he's a good guy. Atlanta will want to forget this night as soon as yesterday. In fact, if there's any team begging for their game to end, Atlanta must be one of those. Julian Alvarez is being withdrawn for Gonzalez in that Tottenham Hotspur game. You said no worries. Joining from Dublin, Ireland. Not okay. Dublin, Ireland. Not a Newcastle fan, just like his versatility. Yeah, he's been literally played across the entire backline. Sometimes you see him at left back, center back, right back, depending on he's that kind of player that he plays the role. Whatever you put him to play, he will play the role. He's not the kind of player that plays a particular position, really. Sort of reminds you of Manchester United's John O'Shea back in the days, because John O'Shea played, he was At one time, he played as a goalkeeper, played as a back, a defender, would play as a midfielder, as a winger, regardless of where Sir Alex Ferguson sent him to play, he would go there and play and get the job done. Joe says, I reckon he would do a job for them Spurs. Well, OMG, I'm from Dublin too. Ever heard of Troy Parrott? Troy Parrott. Yeah, I've heard the name Troy Parrott before. It does ring a bell. I don't remember in what context particularly, but I've heard the name before. Oh, I think with the Ireland national team, right? I think. Meanwhile, Barcelona are still hanging on with their dear lives, but Newcastle are turning the gears on in this one. Jacob Ramsey was the most recent one with the attempt of his own, trying to beautiful, beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. You say, I reckon he would do a job for Spurs. Guys, Spurs are well within their ruins. Meanwhile, they've scored another to make it 5-2. Quite a positive, I must say, for the bad night they've had. Getting a second, I wouldn't call it a stitch in time, but they need any goal they can get out of that game. If they can finish it 5-3, then they can carry with them a little bit of hope going into the second leg, but at least reducing the deficit to 3 goals, and that knowing that you'll need 4 goals to advance from the second round is not the best position to be in, but it's better than where they were before that second goal. So it's 5-2 between Atletico de Madrid and Tottenham Hotspurs, where Bayern Munich is still 6-0. Barcelona, Newcastle, we're yet to find the breakthrough on either side of that one. We're into the 83rd minute. Well, thereabouts. Uh-oh. It was Jan Oblak with the mistake. The way you had, okay, not similar to that of Antonin Kinski, but yeah, it's Dominic Solanke that has punished Jan Oblak because he played a blind pass as they look to build up from the back. They'll only have themselves to blame for that one equally. Let me see the comment. I'm from okay, from Local Lean Ban. Local Lean Ban says, do you believe that that second goal will serve Tudor's job? I do not think so. They've had such a poor performance that not even a third goal would serve his job, really, in my opinion. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's that goal that serves his job. Like, I mean, it's not cast in stone that he's going to get the sack, but my prediction was that if he loses the game tonight, which he is already doing, then he will get the sack. Because if I'm managing Tottenham Hotspurs, and this is the kind of performance that we are receiving, perhaps I would have drafted my sacking message for you at halftime. In other words, as soon as the referee blows the final whistle, I'll be hitting send. Before you even go down the dressing room to have a team talk, before you go do the media duties, I'll be hitting send. Done. But first of all, whoever will be responsible in drafting that message is equally as guilty, is equally a culprit. I mean, how did they arrive to that decision that Igor Tudor was the man for the job? Now, unless he can turn it around, which does not look likely, because this is his 4th game in charge, and they've lost all the first 3. This is going to be his 4th loss, 3 in the Premier League and now in the Champions League. There's no way you can defend it. Meanwhile, Rashford wanted to play hero again. You say he used to manage Ireland. He's really good. Spurs should sack Tudor and bring Stefan Kenny. You say he used to manage Ireland and is really good. He probably could do a decent job, but he's underperformed managing St. Patrick's Athletic there. Now, for me, first of all, as soon as Thomas Frank was let go of, the two quick names among the possibilities that were mentioned that stood out for me. Their former manager in Harry Redknapp, I know he's in retirement, but he managed them between 2008 and 2012. I thought he could come in and do a fairly decent job. Tim Sherwood managed them in 2013-2014 season. He was up for it. I thought maybe you go and have a chat with some Big Sam Allardyce, possibly to come and salvage your reputation, because we're talking about managers that are familiar with the Premier League, have the experience. Two of them have worked with Tottenham Hotspur before. They know the dynamics of working with Tottenham Hotspur, even with Daniel Levy having been pulled out of this, really. So Ronald Araujo got fouled and he wanted to waste time, so he dragged himself back on the pitch, and the referee was like, "Get your ass back off the turf. Stay outside if you think you've been injured and you need treatment." Meanwhile, it's a goal. Newcastle half squad. Newcastle half squad. It's 1-0 to Newcastle. It's been a long time coming. On the other side, Antoine Griezmann was withdrawn for Koke. Harvey Barnes. Beautiful, beautiful goal. That kind of Newcastle performance has really, really deserved the goal. And I think it's come at the right time, or at the more opportune time. So the pressure is on for Barcelona. But wow, what a beautiful goal. What a beautiful goal that was from Harvey Barnes. There's no way it was missing from close range. Beautiful, beautiful goal. Ed Howe having a closer look at it, just like I am looking to having a closer look at it. And Danban assists. Was it Danban? No. I think it was Jacob Murphy. I think it's Jacob Murphy that floats in that ball. I need to have a look at it from close range. Wow. It doesn't actually get the perfect touch to it, but nonetheless, it does hit the back of the net. Beautiful, beautiful goal from Newcastle. Well deserved. Well deserved. I mean, half of the entire world thought Newcastle were going to lose tonight. Everything I touched on in the preview that they should looking to be doing to put themselves in a good position to compete favorably in this game, they have managed to do. The goal has been checked and cleared, and it's confirmed. It does stand. You say Murphy is a good player as well. Yeah, came on in the second half. Hansi Flick is a fraud. That is Joe Guffey. Says can't beat Newcastle, couldn't beat St. Patrick's Athletic, La Liga's Anna Slot. Wow, those are very unkind words for a manager that won Barcelona the treble in his debut campaign, and there are 4 points leading at the summit of the Spanish La Liga table, and not to mention they reached the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey before being knocked out, and they have already won the Super Copa España when they beat Real Madrid by, was it 3-2 in the final, before Xabi Alonso was sacked. So really, I may not share similar, sentiments with you on that one, but I mean, it's a 1-0 lead. Barcelona will have it all to do at Camp Nou next week. I won't be quick to write off Barcelona, just on the back of that performance. But if they take the same performance to Camp Nou, then trust me, it will be Newcastle's game to or tie to take away. Must admit, Premier League teams have had a bit of a good record against Spanish teams. Because Tottenham losing to Atletico de Madrid and Barcelona, if they are to lose to Newcastle at the end of this one, that will be like the second loss for a Premier League side to a Spanish La Liga side. Remember, Liverpool beat Atletico de Madrid and Real Madrid at the league phase. Man City beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu by 2-1 at the league phase. Brad Erling Haaland and Nico Riley, while Rodrigo Goes scored the consolation. Remember, Arsenal beat Atletico de Madrid and beat Athletic Bilbao at the league phase. So that's the record for you between English teams versus Spanish teams in the UEFA Champions League thus far this season. So really, and you can see what that call meant to the Newcastle fans. You say Ed Howe should be Charlie Kirk. I'm not sure I do share that sentiment. They tried to keep Isak from joining Liverpool. I hate Newcastle. Oh, okay. Understand where you're coming from for hating Newcastle. But it's good football. I enjoy good football, and that's all that matters for me, really. They tried to keep Isak from joining Liverpool. Well, if you hate them for that, I mean, he was their player. They were trying to build a project. Meanwhile, Harvey Barnes was withdrawn for Joe Willock as we entered the 4 added minutes of that game. Bayern Munich Atalanta is close to coming to one end, as all the other games. Oh, Newcastle trying to push on, hoping maybe for a second. Now, that foul from Marcus Rashford, how is that any different from what Sandro Tonali committed against Rafinha? Simple. There was a yellow card. This is not. How? Consistency from the referees. Where is it? That's all we demand for. A bit of consistency in the level of decision making. I reckon Barcelona should have had more than one yellow card that they've received in this game. Somebody says, which Premier League team do you hate the most? Mine is Manchester United, or everyone, or Newcastle, or Chelsea, or Arsenal. Hate is too strong a word. Now, first of all, I'll put it this way. I love football in general. So that's where I come from. And with loving football, I pre-disqualify myself from hating any team in particular. On a given day, because I also support Arsenal and Real Madrid, I will not like my day's opponent. But if they score a good goal, if they play a good game, I'll give them their flowers. I'll give them the credit for it, for that. But I'll only dislike them for that day. And maybe traditionally for us here in Uganda is Man United fans hate, Man United fans hate Arsenal and vice versa. That's the rivalry in as far as football is known in this country. The same way you would have Rangers fans hate hate Celtic fans and vice versa. The same way you have Liverpool fans in the UK hate Manchester United fans for that rivalry. The same way you have Tottenham fans hate Arsenal fans and vice versa. That's the context down the side that Man United fans hate Arsenal fans and vice versa. Because they look at each other as the two biggest rivalries in English football on the side of the aisle. regardless of the domestic derbies that play on the other side, like the Merseyside derby, where Liverpool fans do not like Everton fans. But for me, hate is too strong a word to use. I do not, you see, in 2010 World Cup, I was supporting Ghana because it's always been the team that I supported in AFCON whenever Uganda Cranes did not make it. But even when Luis Suarez prevented that ball from hitting the back of the net, and eventually Ghana got knocked out of at the quarterfinals of the World Cup 2010, I don't think I ever hated Luis Suarez as a player, as the individual, because he's always been a brilliant player. So for me, it boils down to that. That's how I could sum it up. I hope it does make sense for you on that part. I can see we have another comment from Ban. Oh, Barcelona have been awarded a penalty against, I think, is it Malik Thiaw? They have been awarded a penalty very late on, with literally in the last minute of the game. And they've scored, it's 1-1. He brings Danny Olmo. Oh, it's a foul. There's no two ways to that. There's no two ways to that. And that's the nature of football. It can be defined by the finest of margins, the smallest of moments, and that's the encouragement that Barcelona take into the second leg, and knowing that Lamine Yamal converted from the penalty spot to restore parity to make it 1-1 on aggregate going into Camp Nou. But that goal is what also tells you that usually the result does not define the game, is not indicative of the performance that you may have had in the game. On the other side, Atlanta have scored to pull one back against Bayern Munich. But Jonas Ubik has been taken off, I think, through injury, the Bayern Munich goalkeeper. But yeah, beautiful penalty from Lamine Yamal there. No complaints whatsoever. But Malik Thiaw will have to bury his head in the sand and look forward. He did not intend to bring down Danny Olmo. It's just a miscalculation. And yeah, it was that. Okay, let me see if I can get through these comments. You say, worst club in the League of Ireland is Shelbourne FC. We St. Patrick's Athletic fans here, lad. Okay. Lamine Yamal, Jack Mulroney. Okay. The game between Bayern Munich and Atlanta is ended in favor of Bayern Munich winning that one by 6-1. A brace from Michael Olise, a goal from Nicholas Jackson, Stanisic. You had Sajina Brescoa in that one. Really beautiful performances. Who has scored a brace on the night? But also the game at St. James's Park has ended 1-1 between the two sides. Really, that one between Atletico de Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur is yet to climax. A couple of minutes are left to play in there. But it's also close to its finishing moments there at the Riyadh Air Stadium in Spain. But those Newcastle players will be sort of a bit disappointed in the final result, but they will be really proud of their overall performance. Remember, we started the day with Galatasaray beating against Liverpool by 1-0. That goal scored by Mario Lemina. For those of you that remember him, he plays for the Gabonese and the Gabon national team, but was at Wolverhampton Wanderers not too long ago. Okay, yes. The Bayern Munich goals came from Stanisic, Michael Olise with the brace, Sergi Gnabry, Jamal Musiala, and Nicholas Jackson were the goal scorers on the evening. While for Atletico de Madrid, the goals came from Marcos Llorente, Anton Griezmann, Julian Alvarez, Lean with the brace, and Lee Nomad, while for Tottenham Hotspurs, it's been Dominic Solanke and Pedro Porro there. Meanwhile, there's been an injury to Joao Paulinho, head injury. That's why that game has sort of dragged on. Football is such a cruel sport, guys. Newcastle's performance is not reflective of the final result in the night. I did not think Barcelona did anything in that game to deserve the 1-1 draw that they got. But that's the nature of the sport. It's a sport of fine margins. One moment decided it for Barcelona, on the other side, really. And that was a very unconvincing performance from Barcelona, really. Really. Let me see some of your other comments. This one says, bad injury in the Spurs game. Yeah, for Joao Paulinho. Pour one out for Paulinho. Unfortunately, I have a table on me here, so I cannot pour on the table, you know. But I think he will be okay. By the virtue of the fact that he was able to walk off by himself, I think he will be okay, really. I think he will be just fine. But wow, what a night. It's been a girls' galore on the night. It's been a girls' galore on the night across the UEFA Champions League. Like I said, you say it's the thought that counts. Okay, he's fine, except for the fact that he plays for Spurs. I understand. So, guys, give me your predictions for tomorrow, because the action does continue tomorrow. Meanwhile, the game has also climaxed. Atletico de Madrid winning by 5-2. So those are the results from tonight. But for tomorrow's games, Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal. That's the early kickoff at 8:45 p.m. East African time. It means if you're in the UK, that's about what? 6:45? Because we are 3 hours ahead of the UK. Then Sporting CP away to Bordeaux Glimot. Your predictions. PSG versus Chelsea. PSG have been very unconvincing this season in their performances. I watched them the other Friday as they lost to Monaco by 3-1, and their performance was very wanting. And I also did watch both legs as they knocked out AC Monaco in the playoffs of the UEFA Champions League. And while they edged it 5-4 on aggregate, it was because Monaco got 2 red cards one in either fixture. So I think it was Koulibaly that got the red card in the reverse fixture at a Parc des Princes that ended in a 2-2 draw. Really, PSG had won the first leg by 3-2, coming from 2 goals down. And then Real Madrid versus Manchester City. So your predictions for those, guys, before we call it a night, and then your overall assessment for those performances from the respective teams tonight. The respective games, any that you had your attention on, feel free to give us your review, what you made of those performances. Joe says Arsenal will batter Leverkusen by 3-0. Chelsea, he's tipping Chelsea to win by 2-1 against PSG. Sporting Lisbon to lose to Bordeaux Glimot by 2-0, while he thinks Real Madrid and Manchester City will share the spoils in a 2-2 draw at the Santiago Bernabeu. Then Ban says Arsenal will win 3-0, Chelsea will win 2-1, Bordeaux Glimot will win 2-0, Man City Madrid 2-2 is what I reckon. Well, you have identical predictions there. Anyways, so you have identical predictions there. But, it's a 2-leg fixture I have a feeling that after 2 legs, Chelsea could go through against PSG. I still have hope in Liverpool knocking out Galatasaray. I think Man City over 2 legs. Real Madrid have sort of had the edge over them over the years. I think Arsenal will do just enough to knock out Bayer Leverkusen. Then Bodo Glimt against Sporting CP. I fancy Sporting CP to advance. Bayern Munich against Atlanta. I think the writing is on the wall that Bayern Munich will advance. They've already won 6-1 after the first leg. Tottenham, Atletico. I do fancy Atletico. They go into the second round. Sorry, in the return leg with that 5-2 victory. That means Spurs need to win that fixture by 4-0 for them to be able to advance to the next round. Because 3-0 only puts them to parity. Then what's the other game? Barcelona, Newcastle. I still fancy Barcelona to get the better of Newcastle. But that was a very, very spirited performance from Newcastle. They did all the basics right. Apart from that mistake from Malik Thiaw, everything else on the night had perfectly aligned for them to win that fixture. But I still fancy Barcelona to get the better of them at Camp Nou next week and advance to the quarterfinals. Then what's the other game? Is there any other game I may have missed? In giving my prediction for who I think will advance over 2 legs? I don't think so. But in football, anything can happen. Surprises do not discriminate. We've had stunning performances. We've had upsets before. I remember going into the league phase when Sporting Lisbon hosted PSG. I did not think PSG would lose against Sporting CP, and yet they managed to beat them by 2-1. There's that guy called, I think, Lucas Silva, the one that replaced Victor Gyökeres. I think I stand to be corrected, but I think that's the name. A very, very good striker. You say that's insane. Must be something to it. So Curtis Jones will get a red card in the next leg. Wow, that's a bold prediction. That's a bold prediction to make. Any suspensions? Let me see. No, I don't think so. So, I mean, overall, it's been a good night of good football. I think for the neutrals, they've really, really enjoyed it that much. If you're a Barcelona fan, I'm sure you've not enjoyed that kind of performance. Thought Spurs were awful. Yeah, Spurs were really, really awful, especially in the first half. That's why they withdrew their goalkeeper in Antonin Keski by the 16th minute. As soon as he conceded that goal against Julian Alvarez for his personal mistake, giving away the ball, literally gifting it away, he was withdrawn for Vicario. And as soon as he gets withdrawn, he walked straight down the tunnel to go into the dressing room. He did not sit on the bench. So you say good football makes me miserable. Why does it make you miserable? Now, guys, I remember when I was starting this channel, I did a small video. It was about what, 1 minute, 2 minutes? It was the sort of the introductory video to the channel. And I remember I struggled with the sound. By that time I still had my K9 microphones that I started out with, and I had yet to figure out how perfectly things work in terms of setting up my sound. And I said, football is I don't remember the exact sentence, but it's where we find the agony of defeats and something to do with the joy of a victory. So it's a game of victories, jubilations, and commiserations, depending on what side of the aisle you fall on. I don't know if I still have that script somewhere. I wish I could read it out for you guys. But yeah, depending on what side you're on, if you're losing on the losing side of the night, definitely it's bound to be a bad game for you. It's bound to make you miserable. Then if you do win, you're on the winning side, then you're definitely going to be a happy person at the end of the game. So you say, okay, they should bring Angie back, Angie Postecoglou. I don't know what Tottenham fans feel about that. They're so obsessed with the idea of bringing back Mauricio Pochettino that they cannot look beyond Mauricio Pochettino for majority of them. I don't speak for all of them, but majority of them, from what seeps through their fan base, that's what I do get. Ange Postecoglou, well, I don't think he was overall a bad manager, but his second season, particularly with the Premier League record, losing 22 games in a Premier League season and finishing 17th, that's the kind of form that gets a team relegated. So really, I don't know. I don't think they would attempt to bring him back. Then you say, what's your favorite goal of the night? There are many great goals to select from. Favorite goal of the night? I think I would go with Michael Olise's goal versus Atlanta, the first goal that he scored. I mean, the way he places that ball in the bottom corner, how he cuts slightly back from the inside of the 18 yards box and comes out a bit and, slots it in the bottom corner really was, for me, quite impressive, I must say. That for me, that's the goal of the night, really. Then you say, okay, I think I read that one. Anna Slot is so spastic. Is so spastic. Let me find suffering from spastic paralysis affected by really. Anyways, meanwhile, Arne Slot himself, I do not think he's in the perfect box of Liverpool fans. There's a lot of them that have this idea or the feeling that perhaps at the end of the season, when Liverpool are reviewing all the things they may have done during the course of the season, he should be one of those that should be let go. I don't know. It will be up to, I think, Richard Hughes and Rob Edwards to do their review of the season based on the investment that they did at the start of the season and how overall it's gone. I do not think it's doomsday for Liverpool. One, they still have a chance to finish within the top four of the Premier League. They have a chance there. They have a chance to go and win at least a cup competition. They are still in the FA Cup in the quarterfinals. Yes, they have a very difficult opponent in Man City, but it's not like they've never beaten Man City before. So they are capable of beating up against Man City on a given day. Then they are still in the UEFA Champions League. Who knows? They can fight on. They have the pedigree there. They are one of the most successful teams in Europe. They have as many as six Champions League titles alongside with Bayern Munich. I think they are the teams with 6 Champions League titles. Ahead of them is only AC Milan with 7 and Real Madrid are miles apart of the rest with 15 titles. So really, but nonetheless, I must acknowledge that Arne Slot has not really done much to paint himself in glory with the Liverpool fans this season. So that's the sort of feeling around that or the sentiment to it. Okay. I think I've gone through majority of the comments. Thank you so much for all those that have submitted in comments, those that have liked the broadcast. It's been really brilliant. You said thanks for keeping me company on such a great night of football. Uncle, see you tomorrow indeed. Provided all factors are kept constant. It's Uganda. You can have a power blackout and then suddenly you're not on. I remember in the morning I was doing my broadcast and then it ended at 54 minutes because suddenly video just went off. I had a small glitch with my internet and video ended itself. It's never happened to me before because usually when internet goes off, it goes into that roaming bit and then you can wait around until you do the internet reconnection and you proceed, but it happened to me. But thank you so much, Ban, for being part of the broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for your contribution to the discussion. Hope you've already you've done me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Joe says, gonna watch the replay for the matches in the Bonnie Blue queue. Okay, good luck on that. But thank you so much, Joe, for being part of tonight's broadcast. Thank you for making it worthwhile, guys. You give me the encouragement to keep doing this. You keep me company, so thank you as well for the love and support that you've shown. Then Baka, thank you so much for being part of us earlier on. Those that liked the broadcast, those that did not like or did not send a comment, but were in the background they are watching, thank you so much for always taking the time or dedicating part of your time to be with us. Your love and support does not go unnoticed. Thank you. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Stay blessed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We'll be back here in the morning at 9 a.m. as we do every single day, Monday to Friday, because on Saturday we come at around 10 a.m. But we do broadcasts every single morning, Monday to Saturday, and then night podcasts every single day, Monday to Sunday, talking about football, talking about the Premier League, and all other things that matter in the game of football. So stay blessed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.